Hey, this is Greg from Three Monkeys Solderless. Get asked a lot to either build somebody a pedal board or tell them how to build a pedal board or even how to set up a pedal board, wire a pedal board, especially since we've designed our own cables and started selling them since 2016. So I'm going to do a little short video since I've been meaning to do this for a while, but you know, touring has been kind of slowed down or to a stop right now, so been meaning to try to do this for a while and just now I have the time, and so let's get into it. I'm going to do this board for a local artist, and how I usually start out is take a little this blue painter's tape and put just get one corner down and then kind of put the effects where, in the order I think they're going to go in. Normally put the tuner first, then compressor. This one's got a old school fuzz face and a wah, which sometimes don't play well together, so definitely going to wire this up and then actually play through it and listen and see where does the fuzz face sound better in front of the wah or behind the wah. I'm actually going to build a little interface box too that that you can tune in, kind of a buffer in between the wah and the fuzz face. Haven't done this before, but I thought this would be a good chance to do it. Lots of good stuff on this board. Lots of good, actually these two boards, got mostly drives and wah on this one main board, and then there's an auxiliary board that's going to have modulation stuff on it, including a Real Tape Echoplex and a Neutron 3 vintage. There's a few vintage things here, so it's pretty cool. So I start out by basically just putting this stuff out how I think it's going to go. Got this nice riser from Fixed Pedalboards. The quality on this is unbelievable. Can't really wait to, first time I've ever used this by these guys, and can't wait to use it. So first off, I go in and basically use our Three Monkeys Solderless 1/4 inch patch cable kit, and I go in and put basically plugs in every effect, including the DC solderless plugs, which we have a patent on, which we came up with in 2015. So that said, that's the way I can, makes it a little easier to get stuff in place where it needs to go, and kind of where the wires are going to go. And then so we're going to use a One Spot Pro CS12 on this board. It's perfect, exactly what I need for to power this kind of stuff. A few things we're going to try at 18 volts that can handle them and see how that sounds, and the rest pretty much 9 volts except for the fuzz face, which is going to have a battery. So I also have this One Spot milliamp meter, which goes in, and when you plug it into the effect, it'll tell you what the effect is drawing current wise. And I just like to go and do all this and write it all down. I actually create a spreadsheet and write it all down. That way especially these days with a lot of the Strymon stuff, a lot of stuff that doesn't run off batteries, it's going to have to run off a power supply. You want to know what kind of current it's drawing, and you want to give it the amount of current it needs. You don't want to underpower them. As soon as you underpower, especially the Strymon stuff, it just starts acting odd, and you're like, a lot of people are like, oh, this is broken, and this, I bought this off the Reverb and it's broken. No, you're just not giving it the right power. So we can just start with the tuner, and you basically just plug it in and it'll show you both on and off as to what kind of current draw it gets. Most of this stuff is pretty low current, especially overdrives. You're probably around 10 normally, especially like something like, okay, let's say this Vimmeramp Tube Screamer. It comes in at 9, so you're just under 10. Unique to this board, which is a really cool pedal is this Chase Tone Secret preamp, which is the EP3, Echoplex preamp. I was pleasantly surprised at how much current this one draws. It's drawing about 150. And that's exactly what they have on their website. Reason being, it's got a charge pump in there. It's really bumping the voltage up, and that's really the only way that circuit works correctly. All these are pretty standard 2.1 millimeter, so they'll use our Three Monkeys DC solderless, all with a center negative. So that's pretty much standard. So to figure out how big the board is, again, putting down blue tape in the corners, and then and I'm gonna build this kind of style flat board, which I've been building for like over 20 years. Not my original idea. It's just something that was a kind of a standard for touring guys and even club guys. And when I ran a website called pedalboard.com in the early 2000s, this is exactly what we built for that company. And it's got a nice Veltex surface. I'm actually going to build something unique for this build. I always have had designs. I've been designing pedal boards since the late 80s. I actually had a pedal board company online in 1994. I was selling pedal boards online under the name of Experts, and it was kind of a different kind of style pedal board. If I can dig up my original one, I'll show it to you guys. But yeah, so I've been building boards for a long time. I've been a touring guitar tech for almost 25 years. And I built innumerable pedal boards for pro guys, and I'm not going to get into the whole soldered versus solderless debate. I find solderless works for me. I've used it on tons of touring boards. I worked for Brad Whitford for nearly 20 years and used it on every one of his boards that I built, and had cable failures about as many as I've had with soldered cables, which is relatively few. But there's a lot of guys that will tell you you got to have this soldered cable. Look, man, there is no one way. I like to do stuff myself. Kind of the whole reason that I had the idea to do a DC solderless cable. I used to always make my own solderless cables, and I used to make my own DC soldered cables, and I got old. I had to start wearing glasses, and it's really hard to solder this tiny little wire. So I went in and did a Google search and was like, hey, somebody's got to make this. Well, nobody did. So I went out to my shop and I made one, it took us about 6 months to get the prototype done. My partner Ossie did work on his lathe at home, and we had another engineer working with us, another industrial designer working with us doing CAD stuff, and that's how we came up with these super simple, probably pretty much the easiest solderless system there is. But you can use our stuff, use somebody else's stuff. Doesn't matter, as far as the basic principles of designing a pedal board. So again, put the blue tape down in one corner. So this is going to be my starting corner, and basically I'm going to lay another line of tape down. I'll use this straight edge to kind of lay. And I usually lay it about just right on the corner of it. I don't want the board to be any bigger than it needs to be. So we'll lay this down kind of like so. And then also come over and probably gonna try to get this guy in here a little tighter. Get this in here a little tighter. I think that's pretty safe. Make it like right there. And this is going to be the outside dimensions of the pedal board. kind of gives us an idea of what we're looking at as far as size goes. So let's get the tape measure out. This one looks like roughly 32 by 18. So that's a good, you know, that's a pretty good size pedal board. Got a bit of room here. If I make my fuzz face wah interface box, I'll probably go here. Might also move the power supply in different directions to try to, you know, get it where it's optimum to run the cables. And I think, you know, that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to break this up into a couple of different episodes. You know, one will do the wiring, and then we'll go in and listen to the play between the wah and the fuzz face to make sure that's all working. If the compressor needs to move somewhere else. And we'll also probably go in and measure some of these input and output impedances. I got a special box I'm going to make to do that. So yeah, let's revisit this soon.